Carolina Panthers are interesting to me.
The
really
most interesting team in the league to me.
Here's the issue that I look at with Carolina. Cam Newton, albeit, an MVP winner from 2015, here is a guy in my mind that when you watch the way they design plays, and Mike Shula does a great job as the offensive coordinator, there was 8 to 10 runs a game designed for Cam Newton to carry the ball.
He's the runner.
Like he's a quarterback counter. Unsustainable. You can't. They transitioned a little bit into more pro-style offense last year, and he completed 52% of his passes. Now you're talking about, hey, Cam, we need to transition further. We go out and get Christian McCaffrey, who's awesome, but we want to transition further into this. We're not going to let you carry the ball, what you do best, and we need you to be a productive pocket passer.
What if he's not?
Which you never have been. You've never been elite in that level. You've been an elite athlete, but not an elite, accurate guy. And you can't practice because you had shoulder surgery. That's a recipe for not great success in my mind. So they're really interesting because I like what they've done in the offseason.
First of all, I like their defensive personnel. I think they have coaching, ownership, GM stability, things I like. I think it's a winnable division. I mean, I picked them to win the division, but I'm like you. I thought Christian McCaffrey was a perfect – we lobbied for that pick. But I picked him to win the division. It's the one I'm not sure about.
Right, and I look at the rest of that division. You've got Hall of Famer Drew Brees, last year's MVP, Matt Ryan. You've got Jameis Winston in that division who's really up and coming. Like, that's a quarterback-rich division right now. And you're saying, hey, Cam, what you do best
don't do
it. We can't have you do that anymore because it's not sustainable. That's why all these teams are going away from that. It's now become an adjunct, but it's not something that we can major in.
Yeah, that's a really good way. The NFL's always had this history of opening windows. Run and shoot.
Right.
Wildcat. Got about a 2-year window, and then the NFL goes – no, it surprised us.
Right.
I feel like, Mark, the window has closed on athlete first quarterback. Like RG3 Manziel, it's busted too many times.
Here's what ends up happening. You know what your default mechanism is when you rely on athleticism and talent, athletic talent? Your default mechanism as a quarterback is neck down. I'm going to go out and make a play with my body.
Yeah.
RG3, Manziel. You can't stay healthy in this league because I picked up a ball once as a rookie, and I could run. I covered kickoffs as a rookie. I picked up a ball once and ran with it. You know what happened to me?
What?
I thought my chin got broken by Mike Merriweather. He hit me so damn hard. The only reason I didn't fumble is because 4 other guys hit me at the same time and pinned the ball to my chest. I was like, note to self, don't pick up the ball. Like, they're angry. And so, yeah, I'm with you. Default mechanism of the guy that plays from the neck up, slides in the pocket, finds the check down, delivers the ball accurately. Those are the guys who survive in this league. They're provided the protection of the pocket. The guys who scramble around, I'm going to go make a play and play some hero ball, they get impaled and they no longer play. Like, you can't survive that way anymore.
Hey, I want to show you this fight. Do we have the video, Sam? And the Rams-Chargers got into a ugly thing. I mean, you played in this league, Washington, Denver. You were an interior lineman, so you were in all sorts of fights. Like, when you were in Denver, what was the rule on fighting?
Okay, so here was our rule. If a fight breaks out, and the film guys are told, hey, when a fight breaks out, you got to shut down the film. So and it usually takes about 2 or 3 seconds before they shut it down, because if somebody gets injured, they don't want that out there on the World Wide Web, on the interwebs. They don't want that out there. So we had a rule that if you didn't get into the frame of the camera before the film guy turned it off, that's a $100 fine. Like, you have to get in there and start throwing punches and protecting your teammates.
Whose rule was that? The players?
Yeah, that was our offensive line. That was our offensive line meeting room. If a fight breaks out in one-on-ones, if you're not in that damn picture, then you're in trouble.
So basically you're there. The offensive lineman should be in the middle of a fight.
Absolutely. We also had a rule that if it comes between the big guy and the little guy, punch the little guy in the face, right? Odds of winning that fight are going to be better. That was another rule we had. But yeah, those are the rules that happen. Like, there's sometimes in this game when you got to throw down. There's sometimes when you just got to fight.
So your prio is Kristine and I were talking about this last week. If I'm a wide receiver trying to make the league, so I come out of whatever Virginia Tech, I want to make the league, and I'm a borderline player, and the same corner covers me for 17 days. You know all my routes, and So what happens is I'm in like the 16th day of camp and I'm a bubble player.
Right.
And you jump my route because you cheated. And it's food on the table. I understand not getting in fights during the games. I'm surprised we don't have fights all day at camp.
You always have a fight or two. You always have a scuffle. First game I ever played in, I was a rookie, 10th round draft choice, the University of Idaho, right? I mean, that's not a real breeding ground for NFL talent, all right? And so I'm starting against the Philadelphia Eagles about week 9, week 10, whatever it was. And it's the first start I ever had in the NFL, rookie. And playing against the number one defense in football, the Philadelphia Eagles.
They were great.
Reggie White, and Clyde Simmons, and Jerome Brown, and Mike Pitts. And I'm playing against Mike Pitts. And I go out there, and I open up a can. I mean, we're going to town, right? And I'm holding the snot out of him, and I'm having, to me, I'm having a great game. I end up getting a game ball afterwards.
Wow.
Well, somewhere in the second or third quarter, man, he throws a punch at me. So what am I supposed to do? Just back down? No, I try to break his jaw. Why? And I'm not a fighter. I literally tried to break his jaw. Why did I do that? Because I not only have to send a message to him that you ain't gonna punk me. I don't care where I come from. But I gotta send a message to the other, at the time, I think it was 28 teams in the league, that, hey man, I may be from Idaho and I may be undersized, but you ain't gonna punk me. There's one thing I will not allow to happen. You're not gonna come in here and intimidate me or punk me. So if I got to jack somebody in the jaw, that's what I'm going to do. And that's the way the NFL works. There is this bravado and this type A personality. Oh, absolutely.
Finally, Mark Schlereth, 3 rings. You know him. I know him. He's our friend. Josh Rosen's outspoken. I said to start my show, I'm very libertarian. I think quarterbacks should talk and teams should be able to pass on them if they talk. I think Kaepernick and Rosen are seen to some degree now as both kind of political. And I think there'll be an NFL team. And they'll have Darnold, and they'll have Allen, and they'll have Rosen, and there'll be somebody in one of those rooms that says, kid's a little too political. Let's go Darnold. But I love the fact he talked.
Sure.
In fact, I've said this for a year now in Kaepernick. Would you talk? Don't let Spike Lee talk for you. Talk.
Right.
Okay, so I'm okay with the talking and the consequences of talking. How does it fall for you?
I'm fine with it. And, it comes down to this. There's this sliding scale of justice in the National Football League. Does your talent outweigh your mouth? Because if it does, guess what? You get a job. And we see it all the time. I hear people on Twitter and stuff reach out to me going, you'll employ criminals. Well, can the criminal play? Like Ray Rice, all right? And this is just the way it works, man. I'm not saying that I'm for it. Ray Rice punches his then fiance, and he can never work in this league again, right? We're going to make him a sacrificial lamb. Was it because of that, because of the domestic violence? Because Joe Mixon right now has a game, and the video was out there on Joe Mixon, or he has a team.
Greg Hardy.
Right, Greg Hardy. Like, if you can rush the passer, if Ray Rice could rush the passer, he'd have a job. And hey, you know what? He's done, he's paid his price to society, and he's gone through all these things. It really comes down to, do the potential of headaches outweigh the production? Because if they do, you don't get to work.
Robert Downey's history. He broke into homes. He was a drug addict. He sells tickets. Look at Hollywood, because sports is to some degree entertainment, and Hollywood's clearly entertainment, but they're both businesses. If you look at entertainment fields, I'm talking Broadway, movies, sports. By the way, media is now veered into entertainment. You get second and third chances, even if morally I think you're an empty bucket of nothing.
If you're a scumbag and you're a talented scumbag that can produce on a football field, you're gonna get work. Ray Rice didn't get work in this league, not because of the domestic violence, which was heinous. And he's done an unbelievable job of trying to get his life on track, and I applaud him. He averaged 3 yards a carry. That's why he doesn't have work.
Yeah.
That's the brutal reality. So the sliding scale of justice is true. If Rosen can play,
he'll get picked.
He'll get picked.
And if Cap's completion percentage was 68%.
Absolutely. If people looked at Cap, not from 5 years ago when he went to the Super Bowl and they ran that unsustainable offense that nobody could figure out, with a great defense and a running game behind him, if it was he was having production from the pocket, not in Chip Kelly's offense, but a production from the pocket, and he was taking a political stance,
I think
he would have it if he had Kirk Cousins' pocket skills. Well, Kirk Cousins is outstanding, but you know what I'm saying.
No,
if he had
this is-
legitimate NFL pocket skills.
I always look at the Kaepernick situation as an employment situation. It's easier to say I'll pass than you're fired. You can say things employed that you can't when you're unemployed. And right now he's looking for work, and it's very easy for me to go Castro T-shirt, I'll pass. It's much harder to run guys out of buildings. What will his teammates say? How does it play in the media? How does it play in the locker room? To me, Kaepernick, we've made it political and race, and it is to some degree. It's also an employment situation.
Right.
Right now, he's easy to say, I'll pass on.
It's not black and white. There are a lot of different components to this.
Of course. Everything's always more complex than the media tells you.
Right.
It's always more complex.
Absolutely.
Just easier to put your arms around simple terms and simple storylines.
It's easier to say, well, it's a racial stance, or it's easier to say, well, I just don't think he can play from the pocket. There's nuance, and it's deep. There's deep nuance.